You're listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to moving to another country, brought to you by SDC International Shipping, LA's finest. An international move is exciting. It's a time to start over, establish a new business maybe, reestablish family ties, or retire where your budget will do more for you. Please enjoy today's episode, and if you have any questions about your international move, give us a call at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962. Hey everyone, this is Jim for SDC International Shipping. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me for today's podcast episode. Today we're going to look at the topic of saving money on an international move. Now, saving money is something that's a major concern for some people, some more than others. But as a provider of international moving services, SDC often gets asked for advice on things that an individual can do to save money while not sacrificing the quality of service. Now, there are several options that a client can consider in order to achieve this goal, and that's what we're going to talk about. Let's start with self-packing. The first option is packing the boxes yourself, or you and your spouse packing the boxes, or if there's other family members that can be involved. Now, SDC will take care of the big stuff like furniture, big items, and you can opt to pack the other things, the other boxes, smaller boxes. You can pack things professionally. Once you learn how it's done, you can label your boxes, you can create an inventory list, you can do all of those things yourself, and doing that will result in a significant cost savings. So before we move on, let's look at the actual process of self-packing. Where would you start? I'm just going to talk a little bit about this so that you can get the full picture of what's involved. So the first step, of course, would be, before you even start packing, go through the process of decluttering. Open your drawers, open the cabinets, organize your belongings, go through each room and decide what you really want to keep, as opposed to things that maybe you'd rather sell them, donate them, or even throw them away. Because this will not only help you reduce the amount of stuff that you need to pack, but it will also help you stay organized throughout the process. Now, sometimes it's just better to give certain things away, like I say, sell or donate them, and then when you arrive at your destination country, then you can buy some fresh new things for your new home. Step number 2, once you've decluttered, once you're starting to get organized, then it's time to begin to gather your packing materials. You'll need sturdy boxes, professional boxes. You don't want to go for things on the cheap. Packing tape, bubble wrap, packing paper, and markers for the labeling. You can purchase these materials from a moving supply company store. You can purchase these things online. You can purchase these things through us. Step number 3, start by packing your non-essential items first. Things such as out-of-season clothing, books, decorations. You wrap the fragile items in bubble wrap. Now, most of us get incoming packages from places like Amazon, so we're a little more used to seeing how things are packed, and we can compare a well-packed item to maybe one that's not really packed so well, because now we actually have hands-on experience from having been purchasing things online for years. But you really want to think about how are you going to wrap a fragile item, right? Bubble wrap, of course, makes sense, but you want to make sure you fill in the empty spaces in the box with packing paper too, because you don't want things to shift during transit, especially when we're talking about an international move. Next, label each box clearly with its contents and the destination room, because this will make the unpacking so much easier when you arrive at your destination, when you arrive at your new home. Step number 5, save your essential items, things like toiletries, medication, a change of clothes, for last. Keep these items with you during the actual transit so you have things readily available that you need when you arrive at your new home. Now, when moving internationally, it's important to prepare a packing list for customs. This list will help customs officials assess the value and contents of your belongings, and it's a crucial step in ensuring a smooth customs clearance process. Now, here are some steps that will help you prepare your packing list for customs. Number 1, start early. Begin preparing your packing list as soon as possible because this can be very time consuming. Ideally, you should start the list before you begin packing. Next, make a detailed inventory. Write down every item that you're taking with you, including the quantities, the values, and the descriptions. Now, if you don't want to do any of this, just keep in mind that we can do all of this for you at SDC International Shipping. We're just talking now in the context of you doing certain things in order to save some money. Now, when you make your detailed inventory list, be as specific as possible when describing each item. Don't be vague, because if you're vague, then a customs agent may end up putting the box to the side, opening up, going through them, maybe not even just going through that box, but other boxes, and now suddenly everything grinds to a halt. And a delay can take hours, it could take days, it could take even longer than that. So that's why you want to be as specific as possible when describing each item and include any identifying features such as serial numbers or model numbers. This is especially important if you have electronic devices and tablets and computers and things of that nature. Next, categorize your items. Group your items into categories such as clothing, electronics, furniture, and so on. This will make it easier for custom officials to understand the contents of your shipment. Next, determine the value of each of your items. For each item on your list, estimate its value. You can use receipts or online resources to help you determine the value of your items. Next, translate your list. Some people don't think about this, but if you're moving to a country where a different language is spoken, even though people just about everywhere speak English, it is critical, and it is probably going to be necessary to translate your packing list into the local language. You'll have to check with customs officials in your destination country to see if this is required. Next, print multiple copies. Print several copies of your packing list. Keep them with you during your move. You may need to present them to customs officials at various points in the process. So when preparing your packing list for customs, it's important to be as detailed and as accurate as possible. Failure to provide an accurate list, again, can result in delays or even seizure of your belongings. Okay, let's talk a little bit about customs, live loading, self-loading, and not self-loading, or not self-loathing, self-loading. All right, customs. At SDC International Shipping, we understand the importance of a properly prepared packing list for customs when you're going to move internationally. That's why we offer our clients assistance in creating a comprehensive packing list that will meet all of the customs requirements. So whether you want us to help you do this, whether you want to do it yourself, we've just presented the options on how it's done. Next, live load. Another option to consider is called a live load. This is applicable when shipping containers by ocean. With a live load, the container is pulled directly to the client's residence, where packing, wrapping, and loading are done by SDC while the driver of the truck is in the cab. This option saves time, it saves steps and money as compared to doing all of the work in a proper moving truck and then reloading the container when it arrives at SDC's facility. However, the live load option may not be advisable or even possible if your residence is far from the port or on a narrow street that makes it almost impossible to get that through. There's no parking maybe, or there's low branches or power lines. Those are all times when doing the live load option is not possible. However, if it is, this is another option, the live load. Again, the container is pulled directly to your residence. All the packing and everything is done by SDC, and then the truck driver remains in the cab. He removes it from there, and everything goes to SDC's facility. Next is the self-load. This is another option for saving money. Now, with the self-load, you, the client, can load the container yourself. The container is dropped off for a few days, allowing you the time to load the container before it's picked up. With this option, and this can result in significant cost savings, the container is still on the chassis, which is usually 4.5 feet or so or more off the ground, and there aren't any ramps, which means that the loading of the container is done by yourself. It's not as easy, especially if you're not a professional, because you're talking about, lifting things up, more than 4 feet and getting them on the edge and pushing them in, and then somebody getting in the truck. And it is a job, but if you do it yourself, the self-load method will save you money. Quality control. While there may be some potential sacrifice in terms of quality when you yourself do any of these options, because you consider the fact that you're not a professional. I doubt that we would see one person doing all of these things by themselves in an international move. It's great when you have help. It's great to plan for that as far as your budget goes. But it's also great to know what the options are. That way you can choose one that best suits your needs. Packing is a great example of this. Maybe there's a few things that you want to pack for yourself, things that you feel better about handling and making sure everything is wrapped the way you want it to be wrapped, nothing gets lost, and if anything is dropped, you're the one that drops it. I know I have family members that think that way, but that doesn't apply to everything in your home. Those are just a few things. So if you just want to wrap a few things, take care of those things yourself, then you can have SDC do everything else for you. Or you can do 50% yourself and leave the other 50% for SDC, or any combination of the above. So, but again, it's essential to understand the options, and then you choose the one that best suits your needs depending on your residence's location, the number and the type of items that you need to have moved, and your budget. Quick case study here. Let's take the example of John. John is moving from Los Angeles to London for a new job opportunity. He has a small apartment and doesn't have a lot of furniture, just a bed, a couch, and a few boxes of personal items. He calls us at SDC. We've come highly recommended by a friend, and he asked for a quote for his international move. Rob from SDC's manager, provides him with a few options to save money on his move. The first option is to pack the boxes himself while SDC takes care of the furniture. John is a little bit hesitant at first, as he's not really sure he has the experience or the materials to pack everything correctly. However, Rob explains that SDC can provide him with high-quality packing materials along with instructions on how to pack everything safely. So John decides to take this option and saves a significant amount of money on the move overall. The second option Rob suggests is a live load, where the container is pulled directly to John's apartment and loaded up there. This option also saves John some money, but Rob explains that it may not be possible if John's apartment is located far away from the port or has narrow streets that make it difficult to maneuver the container. And finally, Rob mentions the self-load option, where John can load the container himself. This option would save John the most money, but Rob also cautions that it requires more effort, of course, more expertise on John's part to make sure everything is loaded safely and securely. When all is said and done, John weighs his options and ultimately decides to go with option number one. He packs the boxes himself while SDC takes care of the furniture, and he's pleased with the cost savings and the quality of service he receives from SDC. When he arrives in London, all of his belongings are in great condition, and he's able to start his new job without any worries about the move. This particular case study that I just shared with you demonstrates how SDC's various cost-saving options can benefit you as a client when you're moving internationally. By offering different options and explaining their pros and cons, we can help you make a more informed decision and help you save some money while still receiving high-quality service. So to wrap it up today, I'd have to say that obviously moving internationally can be a challenging process, but with careful planning and the right support, it can also be an exciting adventure, a new beginning. So by following these tips on decluttering, choosing the right shipping options, and packing strategically, you can ensure a smooth and successful move to your new home abroad. At SDC International Shipping, we understand the complexities of an international move. We're here to provide you the support that you need. This is what we do. This is what we specialize in. And we take pride in our ability to provide you with premium quality services. From the packing and shipping to customs requirements and more, we offer a range of services to help make your move as stress-free as possible. Okay, I think that's about all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you think it will help a friend, please go ahead and share the link with them. Share it on social media, email, or wherever they happen to be. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for listening. Whether you're relocating within the country or moving to the other side of the world, we're here to help from start to finish. Connect with us today at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962.